Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Row of Gilead here, coming at you with another Marvel Strike Force tutorial guide. Today we're going to talk about strategies to help you blitz like a boss. That's right, everyone's least favorite or slash most tedious game mode once you get far enough in the game. It's something that people don't like to think about a lot, but blitz is actually really important, especially for new to mid-game players. It's going to help you advance and unlock new characters, have extra tokens for war attacks, on top of getting you new characters, orbs, gold, and training materials through the different events that are released through Blitz, like the Red Star Blitz, the Orb Blitz, featured character blitzes. And while it might not be feasible to push super hard for those events most of the time, having a good Blitz setup and a good Blitz roster is super important, especially for when they release Blitz credit tie-in or Blitz event-related characters, right? Kang is the biggest example I can think of a character that you had to blitz your brains off of for his initial release, and they usually hide some of the best characters in Marvel Strike Force on their initial release behind Blitz because they know that people don't like to do it and they feel it's going to help them drive money. So what we're going to do today, using MarvelStrikeForce.com, we're going to talk about how to set up your blitzing roster depending on where you're at in the game for the most effective usage, and then we're going to show you kind of how that exports to your Marvel Strike Force game, and then just kind of show you some basic tips and tricks on how to optimize everything. So let's get right into it, shall we? What we got behind me right here is my current free-to-play account's Blitz tab, right? And what you'll notice real fast is that there's some teams that are full teams and other teams that are kind of a hodgepodge of units. Now, when you're a beginner, when you have very few teams and you don't have a lot of lower level characters to spread out, Blitz is going to be your game mode to help ensure that you understand how these teams work, right? You're going to come in here a few times a day with 3 to 5 teams, and you're going to do your best to learn their specials, their ultimates, their passives, how they work together. And thankfully, with the changes to the free-to-play experience, getting to level 60 where you can finally sim blitzes is a lot easier than it used to be, and that is a game changer. So starting at level 60, you're going to be able to sim blitz battles, and when you can sim blitz battles, they become a lot less of a tutorial and a lot more of a speed run. You're trying to get as many battles and as many wins as you can, as fast as you can, so you can spend as little time blitzing as humanly possible. Now, you can still use Blitz as a mid to end game player to test out certain teams, but the deeper you get into the game, the more late game teams have very mode specific abilities like raid only or war only or crucible only, and you're not really going to get a good test of that in Blitz. So Blitz works as a testing ground for the early game, but of course as you progress, it's just going to be something you're trying to blast through and get as many wins as possible to help you with events and to get Blitz currency. Now, reasons we're going to use MarvelStrikeForce.com, and I'm going to kind of clear my roster, and we're going to start from scratch. So we're just going to start building out teams as I talk about like kind of the pros and cons of doing this. So using the website does a few things. It helps prevent duplicate teams. And what I mean by that is if you have this little box checked right here that says hide duplicates, once I put a 5-man team together, when I go to make another 5-man team, they're not going to show me units that are already on another team. So that makes it a lot easier to make sure that you are, not duplicating units on teams. And then all of a sudden you have 20 teams and you go to Blitz. You're like, why do I only have 15? Or why does this cost me extra Blitz refresh currency to use this team? That's probably because you put that one or two of the units on multiple teams. So what I like to do, especially on the free-to-play account, I like to try to put as many of my full teams together as possible, right? So we're going to want, and this is nice too, it's much faster to sift through the filters on the website versus using the in-game stuff. And what we want to do is we want to take like our 5 best teams. So Hivemind is one of my best teams on the free-to-play right now. So make Hivemind a team, right? And we create another team. And we're going to create... Let's see here. What do we want? We want Darkhold. Let's do Darkhold. Darkhold's another great team. I've leveled up a bunch. We can just kind of throw them all in here. Now, placement sometimes matters in regular battles. For Blitz, I try not to sweat it too much. If you notice a team is losing a lot when they should very clearly be winning, then maybe look at your layout order and see if there's anything that, you can maybe do or add to, make them a little more effective, like putting tanks on the outside and things like that. But again, for the purposes of Blitz, especially early game Blitz, I try not to worry about it. Basically, what we're doing right now, we're just getting together all of our raid teams, because the raid teams right now in the game are actually all very useful. And they end up putting in a good deal of work in other game modes. We know what our Sinister 6 and our Death Seed are ready. So let's get Death Seed. And I won't do my full roster right now. This is just going to be kind of out to show you guys, like, what it looks like, how it works, and to give you an idea of some of the best practices. So, let's just say these are my 5 top teams. I've got those set. Now, as you add more units to your roster and you level up your account, you're going to have access to more save squads. You start off with just 15, then at 65 it goes to 20, 75, I believe is when I hit 30, so there's a little 10 level jump in there. Or no, 70 was 30, 75 is 35, and it goes up until you hit 50 teams, in which point you need to start unlocking characters to unlock the last 5 to 10 simmable slots for your roster, okay? Now, let's say these are my best units. What do I do with the rest of these tunes, right? Some have synergy, some don't. And what you're going to want to do, let's pick a team like Tangled Web, okay? Now, Tangled Web only has 3 characters in it, all right? And in instances like this, what you want to do is you remove your filter, and you come all the way down here to the bottom. And you're going to put 2 random level 1 characters in there. And you're going to hit save. The reason you're going to do this, and we'll show this in just a little bit at the end of the video when we go run through this Blitz roster for you real quick, you'll see that you'll start getting weaker teams because you have these level 1 units. And what that allows you to do is use these more powerful units to more quickly and consistently clear the other teams. So this kind of gives you an advantage when it comes to blitzing, because you can then kind of manipulate the power of the other team you're going to fight, and it'll give you those 3 options, and at least one of them will be a win. And if you're me, I don't care if I win or lose. I'm just trying to get through as many blitzes as possible, as quickly as possible. But if you're trying for max efficiency, you should be able to switch through 3 or 4 teams and have, this basic setup be good. You'll just boom, boom, boom. You should win almost every battle until you get towards the end of your roster. And an important thing to note as well, as you're spreading this power out, always make sure, always make sure that when you're done, before you export it, that you sort it and put them in descending order of power. So your best teams will be at the top, your worst teams will be at the bottom. The reason you want to do this is because if you don't, you're going to have maybe good teams in the middle or at the very start, and then when you get to the end, you might have teams that have not quite the power you need to clear those higher difficulties consistently, especially not on Sim Battle, and then that just causes more of a headache or causes you to drop battles. So always make sure that you're playing your Blitz from the bottom to the top. It makes life a lot easier. Now, another little tip in there. If you have a huge roster, if you're more to the end of the mid-game, beginning of the end game, you got 40 to 50 save squads, it might also be pertinent to throw a couple weaker teams in the middle of your roster. This way, when you get to like difficulty 7 or 8 on those multipliers, it knocks you down to like 4 or 5, and then your next 20 teams can just kind of breeze through, get you back up to 8, stack a whole bunch of points, and that'll help limit the amount of L's that you take. You can kind of more particularly control it. Again, me personally, unless there's a really big Blitz event going on, I don't necessarily put that much effort into the order. I start from the lowest teams on the bottom, fight my way to the highest teams on the top of my roster, and I take whatever wins I can get. And generally speaking, I'm winning 75%-ish of all of my Blitz matches. So, the vast majority are going down as wins, and that really helps when it comes to getting those Blitz currencies and not having to use refreshes and, getting those events tackled. So, I'm going to finish building out this roster, and then I'm going to catch you guys over in the game. It's worth noting before we take this quick hop over, though, you got to hit save. This action will overwrite your existing in-game save squads with the current web data. Continue to save. Save, okay? So, While you guys are going to experience about 8 seconds of disconnection, I am going to put together a whole 35 team roster, and we're going to pop into the game on the free-to-play account and just kind of show you how easy this makes everything. So sit tight, everybody. We'll be right back at it. All right, gang, so we're almost done. Something I wanted to bring to your attention. As you finish up all your teams, you're going to have units left over. I always try to make sure I do 3 good units, 2 poopy units. This way we have, 3 out of 5 chance of coming up against something easy to beat. And, we're going to make sure we get good usage out of all of our top tunes, right? This way we're at least making sure that our powerhouses are in there. And all of our level 1s can just kind of sit by the wayside. They're not, as important as making sure we get all of our more powerful units into the Blitz. All right, 2 more squads, guys. So close. 1, 2. Apply. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, guys. Now, let's do what we talked about. Let's put them in order by descending power. Done. All right, and save. Alrighty, gang. We're going to meet you over in the game here in just a second. We'll run the Blitz rotation and just kind of show you the efficiency. All right, everybody. We are back in the game looking at our Blitz roster, and as you'll notice, the changes have saved over, and we now have our full Blitz roster all saved and ready to go, just like it was on MarvelStrikeForce.com. So, yeah, it puts us in a really good spot. Let's just go run a Blitz rotation real fast. Let's see how many L's we take, right? That's the deciding factor on whether or not this is successful. We got to make sure we got more dubs than L's. So it's good that we're in the middle of one, too, because this will kind of show you how it works. So we're going to lose these first few more than likely, right? 1, because these are our weakest assembled teams. Oh, hey, look at that. So we got 1 loss so far out of 35. All right, and we're not even starting from 0, so that's a strong start right here. Ooh, that's going to beat us. So we got 2 L's. We're going to take like 5 to 10 by the time it's all said and done, more than likely. Especially starting up in the middle of the thing here. But as you can see, we've only got 2 out of 5 down so far. And we've won so many more already. So only 2 L's. All right, keeping on, keeping on. This makes, I love the sim blitz for this, guys. If you're not level 60 yet and you're cringing at having to do blitzes, just remember, it gets easier, okay? It gets easier. Just get to level 60, and you will never have to grind it, mentally spending energy attacking or hitting auto and remembering to check your phone ever again. So, all right, there's three L's. 3 out of about 12 so far. And we haven't even made it to our better teams yet. So we're looking pretty good. Ooh, that was a tough one. We're going to lose that one. That's 4. 5. That's okay. So we've lost 5. 6. So that's the problem with we were started so high up in the tiers too. Too bad you can't just reset it, but you have to use teams, and then that sucks. So I said we were at 7 losses. Yeah, they have Black Cat. Ooh, okay. Neat. Very neat. So still holding strong at 7 losses. We're in the home stretch. And this is where it starts to get good, because these are all of our better teams. So they should be able to hold their own a lot better. So that's 8. Ah, it's going to be a tough team to beat, too. 9. 10. Oof. Yeah, it goes a lot smoother when you take these losses at the start. the rest of these should be pretty straight wins. And again, I'm not like searching through trying to find good matchups either. You could probably get through this a lot smoother if you wanted to find new opponents. I'm just trying to go full speed ahead so you guys can kind of see just the outcome and how it works, and like the general strategy behind mixing and matching tunes, putting your best tunes at the top, worst tunes at the bottom, things of that nature. Looks like we might hold strong and only lose 10. All right, last one. Alrighty, we got through. We took 10 L's. Now, if you take 35 or 10 divided by 35 for the percentage, of course that didn't do it right. 10 divided by 35. So we lost 28% of our battles at a suboptimal starting point. So you got about a 70 to 75% efficiency chance using this method, even starting suboptimally and not looking for better opponents. So just something to keep in mind, that for Blitz especially, make sure that you are, you know, if you're really hard up on having the best efficiency, make sure you're searching through those other two options that you get each rotation for each team, so that you're making sure you're making the most effective use of that. Lastly, when we're talking about blitzing like a boss, we should also talk about how to use the Blitz store like a boss. Now, we have an old video detailing the Blitz store and kind of the priorities you should use. If you're a newer player, my high recommendation is to go after the Horseman characters first, get them to 5 or 6 stars, and then let the game progress you from there. So for those of you not in the know, that's characters like Sunfire, She-Hulk, Scarlet Witch is down here somewhere. Yep, right there. And that's all you really need for the Apocalypse unlock units out of this. Other great units to grab out of here: Rhino for your Sinister Six, Namor for the Cabal, the new Cosmic Crucible team, and Valkyrie's not terrible if you like Heroes Guardians. Mockingbirds are going to be really good for the Secret Avengers team, or sorry, New Avengers team, used to unlock Green Goblin Classic. So that's going to be a big must-have. And then, of course, Spider Slayer is not bad either for making your Superior 6. I would recommend starting with the cheaper ones first, and once you get them to where you want them, come back, start getting these 975 ones, because that will burn through your Blitz credits real fast. But with that in mind, everybody, that is all for the video on how to blitz like a boss. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. Well, maybe not fun, it's Blitz, but I hope you learned something. I hope you took some tips out of here. If there's anything I missed, anything from more senior veteran players that you guys want to throw in the comments to help our community, I would greatly appreciate it. As always, friends, things to keep in mind: we stream live on Twitch Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from about 8 a.m. to about 10, 11 a.m., depending on the day. Also, we update this YouTube channel with tons of tutorial content for Marvel Strike Force, at least 2 Marvel Strike Force videos a week between news and tutorial content here on the channel, with hopefully more to come. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure you like and subscribe for more great Marvel Strike Force content hanging out with Ro. But as always, friends, that brings us to the end of our video. Long days and pleasant nights, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.